Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel Coin Purchaser. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that you may have lying around in your pocket, piggy bank, or even in your collection without realizing how valuable it could be. We're talking about the 1987 Lincoln penny. That's right, that humble 1-cent coin might just have more worth than you ever imagined. You might have heard that some coins from specific years or mints are worth more than their face value. But what about the 1987 penny? Well, today, we're going to uncover all of its secrets, including its history, how you can find out if yours is valuable, and why some of them are selling for a surprising amount of money. So stick around because you'll want to know everything about this coin. Before we get into the 1987 Lincoln penny specifically, let's talk about the Lincoln penny as a whole, since it's one of the most iconic coins in American history. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by the famous sculptor Victor David Brenner, the coin features a portrait of President Lincoln on the obverse, front side, and for much of its history, a variety of designs have appeared on the reverse side, back side. Over the years, the penny has gone through several changes, but one thing has remained constant: its association with Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. Now, fast forward to the year 1987. The Lincoln penny, which was a staple of American currency for decades, was continuing its long-standing tradition. However, this year is unique because it falls into a period where certain pennies are considered to have higher value than their face value due to various reasons like mintage errors, popularity among collectors, or simply the passage of time. The 1987 penny is one of those coins that, while seemingly common, has a few interesting twists when it comes to its worth in the market. The 1987 penny is often viewed as part of a regular production run, and because of that, you might think it's just another penny worth 1 cent. But here's the kicker: there are specific circumstances that make some 1987 pennies far more valuable than you might expect. Understanding this requires looking at a couple of key factors: minting, rarity, and condition. In 1987, the United States Mint produced billions of pennies at its Philadelphia Mint, which is why you'll see the PE mint mark on these coins. However, just because these pennies were mass-produced doesn't mean that every single one of them is going to be worth just 1 cent today. The condition of the coin, whether it has been properly preserved, and whether it has unique characteristics are what can make all the difference. The total mintage of 1987 pennies was actually quite high, with over 5 billion of these coins struck by the Philadelphia Mint. Because of this, you might think that finding one today wouldn't be much of a surprise. After all, they're still relatively abundant, right? Well, here's the thing. The high mintage doesn't necessarily mean they're all worth the same amount. In fact, the 1987 Lincoln penny's rarity factor isn't necessarily tied to its mintage number. What actually matters in terms of rarity is the coin's condition. Many of the 1987 pennies out there are heavily worn or corroded from years of circulation. But, and here's the key point, there are certain 1987 pennies that are in amazing condition, and those are the ones you'll want to keep your eye on. Condition is a huge deal in coin collecting, and it plays a major role in determining a coin's value. A coin is graded based on its level of wear and tear, with terms like good, very fine, extremely fine, and mint state, MS, used to describe the condition. The better the condition, the more it's worth. A 1987 Lincoln penny in mint state condition, or MS 65 or higher, can fetch a price far above its 1 cent face value. Some 1987 pennies in fantastic condition have been sold for $5, $10, or more at coin auctions or through private sales. This may not sound like much at first, but it's a far cry from a penny's original value, right? And for coins in asterisk near perfect or perfect condition rated MS67 or higher, the price can shoot up even further, sometimes reaching $50 or even higher in certain markets. One of the most interesting aspects of this is that, while these pennies aren't exactly rare in the traditional sense, their higher quality examples are still relatively scarce, which increases their value significantly. If you happen to have a 1987 penny in mint condition, it could be worth a lot more than you ever thought possible. Now, let's talk about one of the most exciting things in coin collecting: minting errors and varieties. These can make a coin go from being worth just a few cents to being worth hundreds, or even thousands of dollars. So, are there any minting errors or varieties in the 1987 Lincoln penny? Absolutely. One of the most famous types of errors in the world of coin collecting is the double die error. This happens when the die used to strike the coin makes an imprint multiple times, resulting in a blurry or doubled image. Double die errors can be found on pennies from various years, and some of them can fetch a hefty price, depending on the severity of the error. If you have a 1987 Lincoln penny with a double die error, it could be worth much more than its face value. Other potential errors to look for include off-center strikes, die cracks, and clipped planchets. These minting errors are relatively rare, but if you manage to find one on a 1987 penny, it could be a hidden treasure. In the world of coin collecting, market demand plays a significant role in determining the price of a coin. While 1987 pennies in general might not be considered rare by collectors, they do have a steady following. Coins in excellent condition, especially those with minting errors, tend to fetch higher prices. Additionally, collectors are always on the lookout for specific years, mint marks, and errors. The 1987 penny, despite being a relatively modern coin, has gained some attention from collectors who are focused on building specific sets of Lincoln pennies from different years and mints. So, what does this mean for you if you have a 1987 penny? Well, it means that there is a niche market for it. If you've been holding on to a 1987 penny and wonder whether it's worth anything more than 1 cent, it's time to take a closer look at its condition and any possible errors it might have. If you've got a 1987 penny lying around, you might be wondering, how do I know if my penny is worth more than just 1 cent? Great question. Here are a few steps you can take to evaluate your 1987 penny. Take a good look at the coin. Is it shiny and nearly perfect, or is it worn out with visible damage or corrosion? The better the condition, the higher the potential value. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to closely inspect the coin for any errors or unique features. If you spot a double die crack, or off-center strike, that could be an indicator of a more valuable coin. Check online marketplaces, auctions, or coin collecting sites to see if any 1987 pennies with similar characteristics have sold for higher amounts. This can give you an idea of the going rate for your coin. If you're really unsure about the value of your penny, consider having it graded by a professional coin grading service. They can give you an accurate assessment of its value. To wrap up, the 1987 Lincoln penny might seem like just another penny you find in your pocket, but with the right condition and any potential minting errors, it could actually be worth much more than its face value. If you have one of these pennies in excellent condition or with an error, you might be sitting on a hidden treasure. The world of coin collecting is fascinating, and you never know what you might find when you take a closer look at your coins. Keep an eye out for those 1987p pennies, and you might just discover that they're worth more than you thought. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more exciting coin news and tips. Happy collecting, everyone! Where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins, their history, and their hidden values. In today's episode, we're going to explore a very special coin, the 1989 D Lincoln penny. You might think it's just another penny, right? Well, you're in for a surprise because this tiny copper coin holds a story and value that might just shock you. So sit back, relax, and let's embark on a journey to uncover the incredible history and market worth of the 1989 D Lincoln penny. The Lincoln penny, one of the most iconic and enduring symbols of the United States, has been in circulation for more than a century. But today, we're specifically focusing on the 1989 D variety, minted in Denver. You see, while most pennies are not worth much more than their face value of 1 cent, there are certain years, mint marks, and conditions that can make these little coins incredibly valuable. So, let's break down why the 1989 D Lincoln penny is such a gem. First, let's take a step back in time. The Lincoln penny was introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. The obverse features the iconic image of Lincoln's portrait, designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner. The reverse has gone through several design changes over the years, but since 1959, we've seen the famous Lincoln Memorial design, which remained until 2008 when the shield design took over. Now, let's zoom in on the 1989 D coin. The D mint mark tells us it was minted in Denver, and it was part of the ongoing production of pennies during the late 1980s. By this time, the United States had been producing billions of pennies annually, and the 1989 D Lincoln penny was no different in terms of its mass production. In fact, over 7.7 billion of these coins were struck that year. So you might be thinking, if so many were made, why would one be worth more than a penny? Well, hold on tight, because it's not just about the coin's rarity but about its quality and condition. Coin collectors and numismatists use a grading system to determine the quality and condition of a coin, which is crucial when assessing its value. This grading system ranges from poor, P1, all the way up to perfect mint state MS-70 coins that are in higher grades, especially those in uncirculated condition or with unique characteristics, can fetch a significant premium in the market. So, let's talk about the condition of the 1989 D penny. While most 1989 D Lincoln pennies you'll find in circulation are well-worn and may not have any additional value, there are certain high-grade examples that can be worth far more than just a cent. For example, a 1989 D Lincoln penny in a mint state 65 condition or higher could fetch anywhere from $5 to $10. And that's just the starting point. If the coin is in a higher grade, such as MS-67 or MS-68, it can be worth much more, sometimes even exceeding $50 or more at auction. One of the key factors in determining the value of a coin like the 1989 D Lincoln penny is its strike. If the coin has been struck with exceptional detail and has no signs of wear, then it has a much higher chance of being graded in the higher ranges. Also, the luster plays a huge role in the coin's value. The more vibrant and shiny the surface, the more appealing it is to collectors. So, you might be wondering, what makes a coin like the 1989 D so special in the first place? Well, the fact that it is a modern coin, minted in large quantities, doesn't mean it's not valuable. It all depends on the condition and the fact that certain individuals or collectors may have a keen interest in that particular year and mint-mark combination. Let's take a look at the auction market. Coins that have been professionally graded and are in top-tier condition can sometimes fetch jaw-dropping prices. In recent years, uncirculated examples of the 1989 D. Lincoln penny have sold for several $100s in some rare instances. These prices aren't typical, but it does show that even a coin minted in high numbers can become incredibly valuable if the right circumstances align. Modern coins, like the 1989 D. penny, often appreciate in value due to their age, rarity, and the growing interest in numismatics. As the years go by, these coins become harder to find in pristine condition, and that drives up demand from collectors looking for high-quality specimens. So, how can you spot a valuable 1989 D. penny? Well, the first step is to check the condition of your coins. Look for any signs of wear, scratches, or discoloration. A well-maintained penny will have sharp details and an overall clean appearance. If you find one in this condition, get it professionally graded by a reputable service like the Professional Coin Grading Service PCGS or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation NGC. These services will evaluate your coin and provide a grade that will help determine its value. Now, you may also want to consider other factors that could influence the value, like any unusual mint errors. While the 1989 D. penny is not widely known for error varieties, you should still check for anything unusual, like doubled dies or off-center strikes, as these can increase the rarity and value of a coin. So, what's the takeaway? While the 1989 D. Lincoln penny might seem like just another ordinary coin at first glance, it has the potential to be worth far more than 1 cent, if you happen to find one in exceptional condition. With a little knowledge, some luck, and a keen eye for detail, your 1989 D. penny might just become a valuable piece of your collection. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. If you've enjoyed learning about the 1989 D. Lincoln penny and want to see more content like this, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Have any rare pennies in your collection? Drop a comment below and let us know what you've found. Until next time, happy collecting!